The worst time to be in high school is by far your junior year, second semester. But the second worst time to be a high schooler is the period in between when you have your permit and you're working towards your driver's license. Because there's two options your parents can do for you. They can either one shot it and have you just straight up take a test to see if you pass to get your driver's license after you get a permit for 6 months, or they can put you through driver's education, a boring, tedious task where you sit and rot for an extended period of time while having to drive with an instructor and then get your license. Now, luckily, my parents did not have me do the latter, and they let me one-shot it. So I got my permit in around July of 2024, and then I was able to pass my test in February of this year. And driving by yourself is the greatest privilege a high schooler can have because you don't have to rely on your parents or your siblings to drive you anywhere. You can just drive wherever you want. Like so far, I've driven to my grocery store 3 times out of the 5 times I've driven to buy one item, which are energy drinks, of course. The period between your permit and your license, about 6 months, is the most boring time of your life because you technically can drive a car. It's just you are super heavily restricted on what you can do to the point where it's not even worth getting your permit in the first place because the real freedom of driving is when you can go by yourself. But having to be super safe and lawful on the road is kind of boring because I don't use my turn signals that often. I only use it if I don't, then I'm gonna die. But when there is a passenger with me, I'm kind of forced to stay safer, which I'm not at all a bad driver, I think. I suck at parking though. In between that period when I had a permit and a license, it was like moderately to severely stressful for me because I knew at some point I was going to have to take a test because my parents already decided that they're not going to have me rot in a random place that I don't know called driver's education. And although I will say you do get your license at the end, you still have to do like some stuff that you would probably not do on your driver's license test because when I took mine, I kind of had the freest drive. Like the instructor was very nice and she never took me through like any complex like roads, like any one ways or something like that. It was just along a road and then I turned into a neighborhood and I was back on the same road. But during my test, it was raining, which really sucked because I did not want to deal with any external circumstances that could potentially have me to do more than I have. And also, I got away with pretty much committing a crime because I went 17 in a 30 at one point, which is I think the police would pull you over to check if you were okay. But I went extremely slow during my test. I made sure to stick 5 under as my speed limit when compared to the actual speed limit of a road, and that caused more problems than it did help me. Well, I passed, so it kind of helped me, but I'm very thankful that the way my state works is that at some point in my test, there's a part where you have to pull over to the side in a neighborhood road, and there's 2 options. It's either you stay on that side of the road and you put your car in reverse and just move back about 2 cars, and it just demonstrates how careful you are and how close you can keep your car to the curb without going too far or too close to it. Or you have to learn how to parallel park. And thank goodness that I had to do the former because I do not know how to parallel park and I did not bother researching it. But on that topic of researching, I watched that one Gohar video and it just didn't matter because all the instructor asked me was to use my turn signals and my horn. Like it wasn't a waste of time because it's good to know, but I was slightly disappointed. And when the test like actually started, I was like not smiling at all, and I didn't smile once until the test was over. And I still parked horribly, but everything else, like besides the speeding error that I did that test like flawlessly. I'm not gonna lie, but when it came to the final testing, when I had to park into the DMV, my resting heart rate was at 147, which I would not want that to happen again. it made me more stressed than like any test or future exam that I will take, because like even though like yeah, it kind of is embarrassing if you fail, I don't think I should have gotten that nervous because half of my burden was parking, and when I parked both times, well, the first time was worse, but the second time I was in the lines, which is like half the problem with parking for me. But once I passed and my instructor told me, all the relief my body just shot out, and I smiled for the first time during that test. And ever since then, having that freedom to drive by yourself without an instructor is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Anyways, talking about the seed with Feinberg. So what he did was he gave every rank in a private room buffs, and he had nothing, or he wouldn't get those buffs. He would just like throw out the item that they would get. But he gave every diamond rank 32 gold as our buff, and he would see if any diamond can beat him. I got completely lucky because the stars aligned on that seed. It was a 8 iron shipwreck with 11 bread, 10 carrots, and 21 rotten flesh. So I made up time by being able to make gold axe and shovel, as well as a gold pressure plate, because on top of every food that I got from the shipwreck, they also contained a TNT, so I didn't have to mine one log to make a button like he had to do. And then also, the magma ravine wasn't even a good ravine. I had to do like a Detroit portal in order to enter, so I lost all my time there. But then it was a stables. Now, stables is one of my best bastions when I can do triple the gap, because it's just so consistent and you can hardly die, especially when I have gold armor. But if it was like a treasure bastion and I had to play a treasure bastion against Feinberg, I was just gonna lose on the spot. But the trades were so bad because I only got 3 beds and 3 anchors, which like is okay, but that doesn't mean you can effectively blaze bed at the fortress. But even at the fortress, I still got lucky. I got 6 stray blazes on my way to the spawner, and 5 of them dropped. So I only had to kill 2 blazes, and luckily, at the spawner, it spawned 2 blazes. The first blaze didn't drop, but the second one did. So I was at 6 rods in like 30 seconds. But even with all that luck, I was still far behind. I think as I was blinding, Feinberg was entering the stronghold or like building his second portal. Because I just remember I was watching his stream, but I had it muted, and I blinded. I did not look at his Ninja Brain bot, but he had a spike that was directly behind starter staircase, but he didn't send that because it was such a bad nav to the portal room, I have to admit. But he could have definitely sent that direction, but he didn't. He sent like upper right and then tried to go back from there, but it was actually you're supposed to go in the bottom left and then down, which I just completely sent, and I got so rewarded for that. I made up all the time that I would lose because of skill issue. And I entered like 5 seconds before him, and because of the low explosive amount and the fact that it was Y100 tower front, I didn't send a 0 at all, which I definitely should have because I'm diamond 1. But I got so rewarded because I hit the 1 in 13 perch and I like insta perched the dragon, and even with like Feinberg's crazy crystal that he shot that did like 70 damage to the dragon, I still beat him by a little bit. So I still beat Feinberg, but if every star ever aligned up, every zodiac sign was present in that moment, I would have won. And then I don't want to talk about what happened next seed with the stack of enchanted golden apples, because I might have sent the fortress on 15 obsidian accidentally because I forgot to check the chest.